Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones, begins with a classic body double deception. An apparent public assassination of Senator Padme is revealed moments later to have claimed only her disguised handmaiden. The sequence employs the classic body double deception, a device that is run through Western literature and film from Dumas and Doyle to modern espionage thrillers. Such a scenario presents a unique constitutional and moral dilemma. If a body double died in place of a public official, would the government reveal the deception, or would protecting the office come at the cost of public trust? Most stories stop at the double dies, the real leader lives, as in 2008's Vantage Point. In the infamous audio of Joseph Miltier and Willie Somerset, recorded 2 weeks before the JFK assassination, the audio normally cited as Miltier's foreknowledge of the assassination, Miltier almost casually mentions how many doubles the president has.
The more bodyguards he has, the more easier it is to get him.
Well, how in the hell do you figure would be the best way to get him?
From an office building, with a high-powered rifle. How many people does he have going around who look just like him? Do you know about that?
No, I never heard that he had anybody.
He has got them.
He has?
He has about 15. Whenever he goes any place he knows he is a marked man.
The use of body doubles is a long-standing security practice, documented from ancient rulers to modern heads of state. Leaders such as Joseph Stalin, Saddam Hussein, and Fidel Castro have all been reported to have employed lookalikes or decoys to reduce the risk of assassination or enhance personal security. What if Miltier was right? Not just about the patsy firing from an office building, but about the body doubles that surrounded the president. In other words, what if the man who was shot in Dealey Plaza was a body double? The notion of body doubles and deceptive identities hovers over the assassination in other contexts, namely regarding Mr. Patsy himself. In Harvey and Lee, John Armstrong argues that two different individuals collectively lived as Lee Harvey Oswald from childhood as part of a long-term intelligence operation. He contends that this dual identity program explains the contradictions in Oswald's biography and ultimately enabled intelligence agencies to frame him for President Kennedy's assassination. Researcher Corey Hughes argues that many actions attributed to Lee Harvey Oswald in Dallas were actually carried out by a lookalike, William Seymour, as part of an intelligence deception designed to frame Oswald. Such body double narratives found fertile ground during the Cold War, when films like John Frankenheimer's The Manchurian Candidate reflected widespread anxieties over hidden identities, manipulation, and manufactured realities. Route 66's 1963 episode, I'm Here to Kill a King, centered on an assassin impersonating his exact double to kill a visiting monarch from a motorcade. But CBS withdrew the episode after Kennedy's assassination because of its unsettling similarities. So if we are now in the world of the president employing a body double, and that body double was employed in Dallas, what if the assassination itself was nothing more than an act? In other words, what if John F. Kennedy's death was faked? A real-world variation on the body double motif emerged with a later revelation of a home movie filmed by the Kennedys and directed by Jackie at Hammersmith Farm in September '63, depicting President Kennedy's staged assassination with fake blood and a mock Secret Service response just 2 months before Dallas. As if that is not eerie enough, we might look to a latter-day episode of the '80s action series The A-Team. In Season 5, The A-Team are convicted and sentenced to death by firing squad. Working with Murdoch, special effects man Frankie Santana rigs the condemned men with concealed squibs, blood packs, and sleeping pills. Santana also swaps the live bullets with blanks. When the firing squad fires, the charges detonate simultaneously, creating the convincing appearance that the 3 men have been riddled with bullets. Believing the execution successful, the soldiers carry away the apparently lifeless bodies. Once safely out of sight, the A-Team reveals they are alive. The sequence is one of television's clearest examples of a government-sanctioned staged execution, employing cinematic special effects techniques to deceive both the executioners and onlookers into believing a death sentence had been carried out. Could the same have happened for Dallas for reasons we have not even begun to grapple with or understand? Such a notion has been proffered on the extreme fringe of the JFK assassination research literature. How much of what we are seeing in Zapruder actually transpired in those seconds at 12:30 p.m. on November 22nd? After all, in the weeks and months following, federal investigators conducted a series of official reenactments in Dealey Plaza to test competing hypotheses concerning the shooting. Filmmakers, not just Oliver Stone and television producers, have returned to the streets of Dealey Plaza, repeatedly restaging the same 26 seconds in an effort to understand or reinterpret what transpired, proving 11/22 has become not only an historical event, but one of cinema's most enduring recurring scenes. And for all the threads I've followed, some of which I thought have been pretty compelling, I still have no definitive hypothesis about the assassination that I would present at JFK conferences, for instance. Which makes me wonder, to what extent has the public been deceived? I ask this seriously because I think we can all acknowledge something strange definitely happened in Dallas on that day. Anyone who believes we have been lied about the assassination would agree on that. The question is, how much lying was done? If the purpose of a psychological operation is to shape perception as much as events themselves, then the Kennedy assassination has functioned as one for generations. The responsible position of a historian would distinguish the assassination conceived as a psychological operation versus the assassination functioning as a psychological operation. But suppose it was conceived as a psychological operation. Suppose the assassination was indeed nothing more than an act. Detached from their original context, reenactment stills and digitally enhanced images can easily be mistaken for authentic photographs from the day itself. The result is an expanding visual archive in which primary evidence and later interpretation increasingly coexist, making provenance the ability to identify who created an image, when, and for what purpose more important than ever. The problem is that the JFK cover-up was already engaging in the obfuscation of provenance from the outset with the confiscation, disappearance, or alterations of photographs and home movies from that day. For what purpose? To cover up the trajectory of shots? Or to mask that there were no shots at all?